episode 359, we will be recapping WWE Monday Night RAW. A match is added to the Elimination Chamber card. A very good in-ring promo segment. And the steel cage match that was supposed to take place at Raw 30 finally happened. And an appearance from a WWE Hall of Famer right here, right now. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And welcome, wrestling fans. 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Lance Brock here, your host. Thank you, as always, for tuning in right here on Spreaker or wherever else you may listen to the podcast. Hope everyone has had a great Monday. Gonna be talking about WWE Monday Night RAW from tonight. But first, I have to tell you about, for everybody, especially if you're here in the Michigan area, about the EL Smoke Shop in Southgate on Eureka Road. Definitely have to go here. Got great prices on vape, $11.99, and all glass, 25% off. That is the EL Smoke Shop. Again, Southgate, Michigan, Eureka Road. Definitely go there, check them out. Great store. Also, the Cordial Shop in Taylor, Michigan, Telegraph Road, and here in Taylor, Michigan, right close to Wick. And I noticed there's some kind of game coming up this Sunday. So if you want to get some pizza, subs, or any other kind of food, or things to drink, beverages, snacks for your party this weekend, come to the Cordial Shop, Telegraph, in Taylor. So now we can get on to WWE Monday Night RAW. And tonight, Raw was live from Orlando, Florida at the Amway Center. The commentators, Kevin Patrick and Corey Graves. And first, we start off with the Rated R Superstar, Edge and Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon. Together they are the great couple. And we see the Judgment Day interrupt them. Well, all of the Judgment Day except for Rhea Ripley. We see Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and ex-con Dom, Dominic Mysterio. And Dom says that Mommy is busy promoting WrestleMania. Beth Phoenix challenges Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley to a mixed tag team match at the Elimination Chamber. Finn is in, and Dom accepts on Mommy's Rhea Ripley's behalf. So that match will take place at the Elimination Chamber. Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. And then the Judgment Day goes to head in the ring, and Edge starts to fight him off. And then we see the Street Profits make their way out. And then they make the save, and that leads to our first match of the night. It's a qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber for the United States Championship. It is Angelo Dawkins taking on Damian Priest. And pretty good match. I wouldn't say it was anything real special, but it was good. And Damian Priest goes over to qualify for the Elimination Chamber match. And backstage, we see the Maximum Male Models with Maxine Dupree. And they are now officially have been moved over to Monday Night Raw from Friday Night SmackDown. And then they're in the back with Adam Pearce. And then we see Chelsea Green complaining again. I guess this is going to be her new gimmick. She asked Adam Pearce again if he was the manager, and then asked to see his manager, and then asked for a match. And next up on Raw, we get a SmackDown recap of what took place between the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn, leading to their match at Elimination Chamber for the undisputed Universal Championship. Next up, Baron Corbin in action, taking on Dexter Lumis. Baron Corbin's unlucky losing streak continues as he is defeated by Dexter Lumis. And next up, Byron Saxton is in the back with the man Becky Lynch. She talks about her and Bayley's past in NXT. She says there is a card she hasn't played yet. She will play it tonight. And then we have Brock Lesnar in the ring, and he has a contract for a match at the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event, and he calls out Bobby Lashley, and Lashley does not make him wait long. He comes out to the ring and he accepts. He talks about how the first match Lashley beat Lesnar, and then the second one Lesnar won. And then he talks about how Lashley eliminated him, Lesnar, pronouns pal, in the Royal Rumble match easily. So that match is official for the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. I was wrong. I thought that they were going to build this for WrestleMania, but who knows? Possibly could see another one between them for Mania, but I doubt it. I'd say that's probably unlikely, because since this is the third one, I'm sure, it being the rubber match, that it could be the last one of the feud. But who knows? I think maybe they have opponent planned for Lesnar at WrestleMania, and another plan for Lashley coming up after Elimination Chamber. And now we have a women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Carmella, Michin Mia Yim, Candice LeRae, and Piper Niven. This one I thought was actually a pretty good match here. There was one spot that I liked. Candice hitting a Poison Rana on Michin Mia Yim. And then Carmella sneaks in and attacks Candice and goes for back and forth covers on both Candice LeRae and Mia Yim, but they both kick out. And then finally, Piper Niven gets in there and interrupts that. And in the end, though, Carmella picks up the win to qualify for the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Once again, pretty good match here. I was actually kind of surprised. Better match than I thought it was going to be. And then in the back, we see JBL and Baron Corbin. Pretty much says Corbin disgraced him and kind of tarnished his Hall of Fame career, his legacy. And he says Corbin does not belong near him. He even says, "You cannot polish a turd. I tried." So we see JBL dump Baron Corbin. And so I guess this is the end of the modern day wrestling god gimmick for him. But I wonder what's next for him. They've done the unlucky down on his luck streak before with Baron Corbin, and then that's when he ended up getting into the money and becoming Lucky Corbin or Happy Corbin, and then that lasted for a little bit, and then JBL came in with the whole modern day wrestling god thing. But now I wonder what they have in store for Baron Corbin. But while that was going on in the background, we see MVP talking to Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, as recently they've been kind of teasing a reunion between the Hurt Business. And we go to a break. Next up, Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander are now in action with MVP in their corner, taking on the Alpha Academy. And they are victorious in this one, defeating Chad Gable and Otis. Next up, we have another women's Elimination Chamber qualifying match, and Chelsea Green, who was complaining earlier, got her match, and it is against Asuka. And during this match, the other women who have qualified for the Elimination Chamber came out and were at ringside, and Nikki Cross comes out from under the ring. Pretty good match here. Asuka gets the win via submission to qualify. And after the match, we see the Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair make her way to the stage, and she talks to all 6 of the women who qualified for the match. And she says whoever gets past the Elimination Chamber will go one-on-one with the EST of WWE at WrestleMania. So far, out of the ones who qualified, I'd have to say my pick is probably Asuka to win the Chamber and then face Bianca Belair. Character change, going back to her old ways, more kind of, I don't know if I would really say heelish, but more kind of evil ways. And now we have the winner of the 2023 Royal Rumble, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. He wishes Sami Zayn luck for the Universal Championship match at the Elimination Chamber. May the best man win. And then we see the council and the wise man to the tribal chief, Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman. He makes his way out to the ring. And Cody tells a story about around 2000. He says his family went broke and his father, the legendary American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, did a commercial for a local car dealership, not for the money, but just so he could keep the car. And then Paul Heyman gave him a call and brought him in to ECW. Cody thanked him. And Paul Heyman is also on the mic. As always, Heyman is good here. Cuts a good promo. And then he goes on to say his last conversation with Dusty Rhodes that he had, he said Cody is his favorite son, but Roman Reigns is the son that he always wanted. And then that made it personal. Cody gets upset, gets in the face of Paul Heyman. So that is just building for the match between Cody and Roman at WrestleMania. And yes, at Elimination Chamber before then, Roman Reigns defending against Sami Zayn first. But I think we're going to see Roman retain in that one. And then go on to face the American Nightmare at WrestleMania. And next up, we have a qualifying match for the men's Elimination Chamber match. The other half of the Street Profits, Montez Ford, taking on Elias and the United States Champion. Austin Theory is on commentary for this one. And Montez Ford gets the win to qualify. And then from the crowd, Seth freaking Rollins attacks Theory, then hits him with a stomp. And now it is time for our main event of the night, Monday Night Raw, for the Raw Women's Championship inside of a steel cage match. The match that we were supposed to see a couple weeks ago at Raw 30, but we did not get to see because the opening segment with the Tribal Court ended up going long, and the match was cut. They had Damage Control get the 3-on-1 attack on Lynch in the cage, but this time the match actually took place. The man, Becky Lynch, taking on the role model Bayley. I have to admit, it was worth the wait. I thought a very good match here. One point, Bayley on going up towards the top of the cage, and Becky drop kicks the cage to stop Bayley from going up. And then they go at it some more, and then Lynch on top of the cage, but then Io Sky climbs up to stop her, and Dakota Kai throws her crutch in to help Bayley. And I saw earlier that the report that someone was backstage, and now we see WWE Hall of Famer Lita come down to give a little assist to Becky Lynch. She takes care of damage control on the floor, and then Bayley looks like she's about to escape the cage through the door and slams the door onto Bayley, allowing Becky Lynch to get the win to retain the champion, or not retain the championship, there is no championship, but to defeat Bayley in this cage match. So very good main event. Like, I enjoyed it, like I said. And when the match first started, I have to admit I was thinking to myself, as Conrad Thompson would say, self, I kind of wish that they would do like they did on Vengeance Day for NXT, the cage match, Braun Breaker taking on Grayson Waller, where they got rid of the escape rule they had where Shawn Michaels got rid of that, made it pinfall submission only in the cage. But then I was hoping that they would have done that in this one, because not really a fan of the escape rule, but now I understand it. The finish kind of called for it, where they had Lita come out, take care of damage control on the floor, and then slam the door on Bayley when she was trying to escape through the door of the cage. So that they kind of needed that to make the finish work. But still, overall though, I thought it was a good main event. Becky Lynch victorious over Bayley in the cage. And like I said, I thought it was worth the wait, since we had to wait about a couple weeks or so after we were originally supposed to see it at Raw 30. But I guess, like they say, better late than never. But that was Raw for tonight, live from Orlando, Florida. Hope everyone enjoyed Raw tonight. I thought, actually, that it was a pretty good show. I don't know if I would say real great, but I would say good show. Let me know your thoughts on tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. What did you think of it? You can let me know here in the comments on Spreaker or the YouTube version of the podcast, or wherever you are listening to the podcast at. If the website or the app you are listening to on has a comment section, leave it there. Hopefully I'll see it. Or the email 360wrestlingpodcasts@gmail.com. You can let me know your thoughts. And who's your pick for the men's and women's Elimination Chamber match as we get closer to that premium live event. And to get into a little bit of news, a quick note, February 17th, due to some coverage and stuff that will be on TNT of the NBA All-Star Game, all that stuff, Rampage that night will air at 7 p.m. Eastern, a few hours earlier than we're used to. That might be better, so then you don't have to stay up as late till 11 o'clock. You can watch AEW Rampage at 7, and then Friday Night SmackDown at 8. And I don't know why I haven't thought about this before, but I just realized today, for some reason, that February 18th, that the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event and New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Valley card in San Jose are on the same night. I don't know why I didn't realize that before, but that's going to be an action-packed night. Battle in the Valley, the in-ring debut of Mercedes Moné in New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, I don't know, I might watch both shows back to back. I'm not sure yet. Have to figure that out. And recently, Adam Cole did an interview with the Wrestling Observer discussing his injuries and leaving NXT for AEW. I recommend checking that out. Also, this past weekend was the Jericho Cruise, the 4-leaf clover, featuring one time only Jericho Housen. I saw a little bit of pictures and videos or reels, whatever they're called, on Instagram. Looked like a very fun show on the cruise. And that is all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you once again, everyone, for listening. Remember the EL Smoke Shop in Southgate, Michigan, Eureka. Check them out for a very wide selection of vape, glass, all that good stuff. And the Cordial Shop, Taylor, Michigan, Telegraph, right by Wick, for any of your football parties this weekend. Got great pizza, great subs, Italian deli pizza. Everything's great there. So, for all your parties and everything, the Cordial Shop in Taylor, Michigan. And check out 360 Wrestling Podcasts everywhere we are on the internet. Of course, right here on Spreaker or wherever else you can listen to. the YouTube channels. There's 2 of them. Just search for 360 Wrestling Podcasts on YouTube. You should be able to find both of them pretty easy. Also, rate, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share. And also, I don't mention this as much, but also on the podcatcher, if you listen to the podcast on one of them, rate, comment, and all that good stuff. Leave maybe a 5-star review to be nice, and leave a comment. That would help. Like Colt Cabana always says on the Art of Wrestling, that'll help the algorithm and help 360 Wrestling Podcast get bigger and better. It would be very appreciated. As always, I haven't mentioned this in a while, but if you can, support 360 Wrestling Podcast, help keep the lights on, as they say. Anchor.fm/360-wrestling-podcast 360. Any amount will do. If you can't, that's okay, but it would be very much appreciated. So, that's all for this episode 359. That means coming up is a pretty big one. Episode 360 of episode 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Not quite sure just yet when that episode will be, but stay tuned right here on Spreaker or wherever else you listen. But one thing is for sure, I'll be back tomorrow morning for Good Morning Wrestling fans, for your daily morning 360 Wrestling Podcast, while you can listen to while eating breakfast or just drinking your morning coffee. Hope to see you there. But until then, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.